All right, joining us now on Drive the Lane in an attempt to be the most frequent guest of all time, Jon Diebler. Welcome back to the show.
Yes, thank you for having me back. It's about time.
We didn't even, Andrew, it was such a soft intro. I mean, since we last talked to Jon Diebler, he has no affiliation to Ohio State basketball anymore. He is Butler Bulldog. What are you, director of recruiting?
Director of recruiting.
Director of recruiting. You coach Jon Diebler. Do you feel any different being a coach? Do you like wake up with more energy? What's going on?
I always have energy, Joseph. Always. That is one thing that is never lacking. But this has been awesome, man. It's been a great experience. Loved it. Love to be back here with Coach Matta. It's good to have him back coaching again. So it's been fun so far. Been a busy summer, just getting the family moved to Indy and learning our team. So it's been fun. We had a European trip. It's gone fast.
I love it. We're very happy for you. You know, it's could turn into a potential rivalry, which would be exciting. Everyone knows about the former and future and past coaches. I'm sure we'll jump into that. But most importantly, how's the team looking?
We're getting better. The Big East is going to be extremely tough this year, as everyone knows. But we were lucky to have a European trip this summer. So we got to do that in August, got some practice time. And honestly, man, just from first week of practice and from then until what we were before the European trip, we've gotten a lot better. You know, we've gotten to know our guys a little more, obviously, with Coach getting hired when he did and getting the assistants together and then the support staff. It's been a wild summer, but we've had some good practices and we're getting ready for the season, man.
One thing that is hilarious, I don't even know if hilarious is the right word, but is insane is before, you know, obviously we knew we were talking with you today. I wanted to look up who the head coaches were in the Big East because when Coach Matta got hired, it kind of wrapped up the open positions. And just to name a few guys that are coaching in the Big East now, you've got Thad Matta, of course. Dan Hurley is relatively new. Patrick Ewing, relatively new. Shaka Smart, relatively new. Sean Miller, brand new. I mean, that's just insane, right? We didn't even talk about Greg McDermott or Ed Cooley. Like, I mean,
Shaheen Holloway, Seton Hall.
Right, exactly. I mean, like, is it the best top to bottom coaches in the entire country?
I don't know, man. It's.
Do you even know what a coach does yet?
I'm learning. Coach Neptune at Villanova. I mean, it's his first year at Villanova. I mean, it's the conference is going to be crazy. I mean, it's like you said, all the coaches you just named. It's, you know, a lot of newer coaches to the conference, but guys who have crazy experience in college basketball, who have had a lot of success at big time schools in college basketball. So it'll be a fun challenge for us. Obviously, we're looking forward to that first Big East game, but it was fun. I think it's good to see Coach back in that mode again. He's got the juice again, so it's been fun.
Yeah, you mentioned Coach Neptune. His coaching's out of this world, but my next.
He's got to be doing something right, man, to get a job at Villanova. You know, it's an incredible
thing.
Joke,
John?
Yes, I get it.
Okay,
I get it.
But I have a serious question. So, you know, obviously you stayed tight with Coach Matta over the years. Of course, played TBT, won a championship. Matta's gang, all that. Took the picture before the championship. Everyone knows that. We've had you on a bunch of times. My question: What was the conversation between you and Coach? Was there any convincing needed? Were you like, Coach, numbers wise, you're going to have to throw in another X amount of money at me? Like, what was the combo?
No, that he didn't speak of any of that. It was just kind of like, hey, I'm going to take this job. He called me. I was actually still in Charlotte at the time. We were getting ready for playoff prep. But he called me. He's like, I'm going to take the Butler job. And he's like, would you come with me? And I was like, yeah, like, of course. I didn't know what my position was, I didn't know anything. I mean, probably a little jumped the gun a little bit, but I was like, yeah, like, hold on, I got to, you know, I want to finish out here. And obviously I finished my job in Charlotte, talked to Coach Borrego at the time to see what other opportunities were still there in Charlotte, but and also still needed to talk to my wife. Most importantly, probably should tell her that we're just going to you know, up and move. But no, man, I was excited. And like you said, I've kept in contact with Coach, since I left Ohio State as a player. Him and his family are family to us. And it's been great for him. It's been an honor for him to ask me to come and join the staff. And it was kind of a no-brainer for me.
So obviously there are few people that are as close to Coach Matta and stayed as close with him after, he left Ohio State. And I'm sure every year it came up in conversation, are you going to get back into coaching? What do you think is different about now for him? The timing now to take the Butler job. Why now? Why this year? Why Butler?
This is home for him. I think, and if you ask him this same question, he would tell you there's not too many people out there that care as much about this place as that he does. His daughters both went here. One still goes to school here. This place means something to him. He played here, coached here. So I think it's just kind of a perfect fit. It's kind of coming back home for him.
Sometimes coaching staffs are made up of a bunch of random people from different schools, different upbringings. So a rare situation where you got you and Odin and Coach Matta, who all have had similar, practices and all that kind of stuff at the college level. Is there anything that you told him like, hey, Coach, we're not doing this anymore. This doesn't fly anymore. This drill, I never thought it was effective then. Anything that you've axed and gotten rid of?
To answer your question, no, but I will say if Greg had a suggestion, because he probably treated Greg a little different than myself. Greg, if Greg wanted to get out of something in practice in his 1 year in college, he probably could have. He was pretty good. So, but he was probably the rare instance. But for myself, I don't suggest too many things. But no, man, it's awesome. I've known Greg since college. Joe, he always used to come back to Ohio State in the summertime, and to work with him has been great. And I think even Coach Kuick, who was at Ohio State when I was there, having guys who kind of know how Coach Matta is, how he likes to play, how he runs his practices is always good to have, especially with the new staff.
So let me ask you this, kind of like a follow-up question. Do you think his coaching style or anything about Coach Matta has changed since, you played for him, what was it, 45 years ago or whatever it was?
50. No, I mean, there's obviously certain things that he's tweaked. Obviously, depending on the team that he has, he's adjusted it to our team. But he does a lot of similar things. Just kind of how he runs his practice, terminology, things like that. It's it's been kind of cool and nostalgic for me to sit in on meetings and hear those things and go over drills that we do in press. I'm like, oh man, I remember that drill. Like I probably wasn't, especially the defensive ones that I was not good at. But no, it's cool. It's cool to see him, like I said, kind of back in that coaching chair and put that hat on. And obviously you have to adapt. And I think he's done a great job with adapting to know how college basketball is now.
How much have you been able to pay attention to the rest of the country? I don't mean like politically, I mean like other college basketball teams outside of, you got the X amount of games on your schedule, but how much, other quote unquote scouting and looking around have you been able to do?
Honestly, not very much at all. It has been a crazy summer. So I ended on a Friday in Charlotte and started here on a Monday and was back and forth in the summer. We obviously were selling our house in Columbus, trying to get moved here. And that was a wild process in itself. Trying to move your family with 2 toddlers is not an easy thing. And then we had the European trip. So it was crazy back and forth. I'd go back to Columbus, see my family on the weekends. And honestly, we were just focused on getting to know our current guys. I mean, first we had to make sure everyone came back because everyone entered the transfer portal when, the previous staff was let go. So we had to make sure we had a team first. But luckily, thank goodness, everyone came back that we needed to come back. And then obviously hitting the transfer portal, I think we got the guys that we wanted in the transfer portal. But on top of, getting to know our players on our team now, with when coach was hired, we were kind of behind the 8 ball on recruiting. So we had to, you got to recruit in the summer. And so we also, hiring the assistant coaches, and one of the assistant coaches got a head coaching job at Evansville. So we had to bring in another assistant. It was just like, man, this summer was crazy. It was crazy for everyone. And like I said, not just for me, everyone's trying to get their families here. And like I said, we had the European tour, so we got to practice. We had those 10 days of practice. It was wild, man. It was wild. We were really just kind of focused on our guys and trying to get caught up on where we need to be recruiting wise. So we did not pay much attention to college basketball in the country. If that was a very, very long answer to a very simple question. So no, we did not.
Sounds like you were definitely busy, and sounds like you're going to be busy the next few months. What does PTO look like under Coach Matta as a boss? How many days?
It's all about the NCAA, man. You get how many days you get?
You have to get 1 day off a week from practice.
That's right. Yeah.
You get the same as the players?
Coach is generous, man. He's obviously we like to come in and get our work done, but he's always been like that. Like, he's not you're going to be here 24 hours, 7 days a week. Like, no, but we come in, we have a job to do. Once we get our job done, he wants us to go be with our families.
I imagine he is a very easy guy to work for. I do want to talk more about Butler, the university, because, and this is no shot to Ohio State at all, but everybody knows Ohio State's a football school. Obviously, no one knows that better than probably the three guys that are in the Zoom right now, right? But Butler is a basketball school with the greatest basketball stadium maybe in the country, and with some of the best fans. Is that something that, beyond coaching with Coach Matta, beyond staying in the basketball world, being with Gio, all that stuff, is that something that is maybe at the top of the list in terms of what you're excited for this year?
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like, it's very easy to take for granted Hinkle Fieldhouse when you come in here every single day and you practice every single day in here. Like, you just kind of have to sometimes like stop. You're like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, this is truly one of the great venues of college basketball. Like, it is awesome. And I'm 0-2 here as a player, so I'm excited to hopefully get some wins here.
You played there twice?
Yeah. We played my freshman year, and then my junior was the game after Evan broke his back. First game after Evan broke his back.
I did not know you guys played at Butler.
Yeah.
That's so. Man, I can't. Andrew, how excited are you? Question for you, Andrew. How excited are you to go to a Butler game?
I'm excited. I'm going to definitely try and get to like Butler Marquette. That's so close to me.
There you go.
Oh, you're
but like the crazy thing is
Marquette instead of going to.
No, I'll definitely go to Hinkle, but it's like an hour drive from me to Marquette.
But this is what's wild, fellas. Like, this place is awesome. So like, there's tours that come in and out of this building every day. Like, we'll be in practicing and like we'll have to like close the curtains to the gym, and like, because people are taking tours here. Like, you have groups of people coming to Hinkle daily taking the tour of the facility.
Yeah. That's just different. So cool.
It's awesome.
I don't know if I said this when we were talking before, when we were recording, I don't remember, but like when I was in high school, I wrote a letter to Brad Stevens. I was like, hey, I fit the Butler mold. Like, I'm a short white point guard who can shoot, take care of the ball. Like, you need me.
Can you shoot?
I could back then. Yeah.
Now you just play golf every day.
Yeah. Well, I can still shoot, but it's just.
You ever hit a hole in one?
Have you?
Yes.
On your second shot after it went in the water.
Don't worry about it. It's a hole in one.
That's an all-time drive the lane moment, is having you on the next day after you made a hole in one. But it hole in one when you came on the show. You're like, yeah, well, I hit my first one and couldn't find it, so I just re-teed and
greatest shot I've ever had in my life. In any sporting capacity.
It's the greatest par anyone's ever had.
Relax. I didn't use my breakfast ball.
Oh man.
I have a super serious question. What does the scouting report look like for Tiffin?
We have not started that yet.
You got bigger fish to fry, Andrew.
No. Oh, we're going to be ready for Tiffin.
Tiffin's actually.
No, that's not what I mean. They're thinking about how they're going to get better at practice tomorrow, not how they're going
Yes,
to.
absolutely, 100%. But Tiffin, man, that's up by Upper Sandusky, where I went to high school, 20 minutes north. I was actually really excited for that. But I think Butler played them last year in the exhibition game. It was a really close game. Like, they're not those games are not easy games, man. Those guys can play.
Are you happy, excited, frustrated? What emotion comes to mind when you see a Big Ten? I've got the schedule pulled up. Do not have the Butler schedule memorized. What emotions come to your mind when you see Penn State early on, a Big Ten matchup early on the schedule?
I like that place. I
like that place.
I like that place.
Andrew, you know anything about Jon Diebler in that arena?
I think you made, 37 threes in one game there. Remember, we've gone over this. I made the video with threes a magic number to that game.
Listen, that'll be a tough game. I mean, the Big Ten is tough. There's no easy game on the road in the Big Ten. So, I mean, we have to go to Cal. We have Kansas State coming here. We have the battle for Atlantis, Tennessee, first game in the battle for Atlantis. So it'll be fun. It'll be good for us. It'll get us ready for the Big East.
One final scheduling question. So round 2 in the battle for Atlantis is BYU or USC. Who would you rather play?
I don't know anything about either
Just your
team.
gut. In your gut. Who would you rather play? In your gut.
I really don't have any
I
don't know anything about them.
Jimmer's on
BYU.
DeMar DeRozan
yes.
is on USC. Who would you rather play?
I don't know.
And Gordon Hayward is on Butler, and you're playing.
we got Gordon and Shelvin Mack and Matt Howard.
And you're playing.
Oh, and I'm playing now?
Yeah.
But then it doesn't matter.
Right,
okay.
but okay, fine.
Who would you guys prefer us to play?
I mean, I'd rather see you guys play Jimmer.
No, I want to see you try to scheme up some coaching for DeMar DeRozan, the mid-range.
That'd be
monster.
pretty tough.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty tough.
But mid-range,
I got to see enough of his game in the NBA last year when I was cutting up video for Charlotte. So he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's all right. I bet the Bulls trade him this year, but that's neither here nor there. My last Butler question for you. A lot of Ohio State fans are slowly converted semi to be Butler fans. They'll be rooting for them, obviously, like me and Andrew. I'm not converting, but you know what I mean?
I get it.
I want to see Coach Matta be successful, obviously, therefore I'm a Butler fan. Who are some of the guys on the team that we should be looking out for?
Man, we've got a good group. Honestly, of the new guys, I mean, we really did a good job in the transfer portal. We got Eric Hunter, who we spoke about before, from Purdue, really good guard. We got Manny Bates, big guy from NC State, and even Jalen Thomas from Georgia State, who had a pretty good game in the tournament. And then Ali from Akron. I was at that Akron game when they played. Very good player. But I mean, and some of the returning guys, Seamas, Lukosius, Chuck Harris was the leading scorer last year. He was a returner. Jaden Taylor. I mean, we got a lot of guys that can do well. And again, I think the biggest thing for us is kind of getting to know our guys this summer, seeing what their strengths are, where we can put them to be successful on the court. And guys are working hard. They've gotten better in the summer. We got to improve our 3-point shooting percentage from last year. So hopefully we can do that. But it'll be fun, man. I think it'll be a fun season. Guys are excited. I think guys are enjoying how his style of play is. So it's been a breath of fresh air for them, and guys are working hard.
My last question for you, knowing this team and knowing Coach Matta's style, if you could pull any former Ohio State teammate to add to this team, who would you pick?
Of my teammates?
Your teammates.
Or my teammates.
Evan Turner.
Oh.
Okay. That's an easy one.
Pretty good answer. What about not Evan?
Jared. Yeah, Jared Sully.
Yeah.
And then probably Dave, Will, or Kraft.
So you just don't want Coach Oden with you?
I never played with him.
You said me and him in practice together.
No, he would come back
Yeah,
in the summers.
that's
What about
hand.
Titus doesn't fit in well with the Butler scheme?
Titus came here. I got to see Titus.
I imagine he'll be there a lot.
Well, Titus would fit in because he can shoot. But I mean, he wasn't as good as those other guys.
Newsflash.
That looked like you really enjoyed saying that.
I love Titus. Titus is the man. He's the man. He did though. He came back here and it was awesome to see him. He saw Coach Greg and I. He always comes back for the Indy 500. So, but
I'd imagine that we talk about converted Buckeye fans. He's 100% a bigger Butler fan than Ohio State fan now. I would imagine. Not to put words in his.
I don't know, man.
It's close. I mean, he's an Indy guy. He's a Matta guy.
Brownsburg.
We
have a guy on our team, Pierce Thomas from Brownsburg, and I told him that he's like the 5th most popular Brownsburg alum ever. And he gets
behind Gordon Hayward.
No, I say Titus is number 1.
Oh, Titus is. I was just listing
Titus,
guys.
Then Gordon, then Julian Mavunga, then his sister, and then Pierce.
Steph. What you know that Titus played for Brad Stevens?
What?
Yeah, ask him about it. Brad Stevens was like his 8th grade coach or something.
That is awesome. Titus is great.
I wrote a letter to Brad Stevens when I was in high school and told him that he should let me come play there.
Yeah, I bet it worked, idiot. John, my last question before we end the show, or end the interview, how we always end the interview. Do you hit 12 against the 2 when the dealer's showing a 2?
Is that how we all? I'm not answering that. I refuse to answer that question.
All right. That's fine.
Go into how we always end it.
Okay, yeah, sorry. That isn't how we always end it. So it's actually sponsored, John, this segment by our good friends at Brainfield, as presenting sponsors of Drive the Lane. And when we do come to a Butler game, we'll bring a huge case of Brainfield for the whole team to try. It's actually really, really tasty.
Really?
Yeah. And we'll make sure to bring you some, but obviously everybody knows, John, you know better than everybody else. The last question, do you have any questions for us?
I'm trying to think of some questions I would always ask. What would I always ask you guys?
The most ridiculous random things. I mean, it doesn't have to be about basketball. It could be about life. It could be about basketball.
No, we've been talking about basketball the whole time.
Yeah,
well, I already asked you if you've ever hit a hole in one, and we know that answer.
No, that's sadly no.
Turtle, have you ever hit a hole in one?
I've not. I actually have been this close, but it doesn't matter.
You haven't.
I have not, but I have been this close, which technically I made that putt and that was a 2 and you got a 3.
I got a hole in one.
On your hole in one.
That's a great point you make there.
I
actually have had a hole in one.
It was mini golf. It's not valid because I hit a hole in one.
No, I'm on your side for that whole, pun intended, hole in one thing. I think it's a hole in one. And I would celebrate that I got a hole in one.
We celebrated like it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't make the rules. They said that the guys I was playing with were like, "Oh man, you didn't use your breath." I didn't do that. They literally.
It doesn't matter. You can put a 1 on your scorecard. That's fine, but you better not say I have a hole in one.
I'm not a professional golfer, so
right. But like nothing. It's so funny because clearly it doesn't matter. But like to me, it's not legit. Like it's great. It's amazing, but if it was like my 3rd one, I'd be like, yeah, I have 3, but it's really 2. But since it was my 1st, I would say, well, I don't have one, but I did make a hole in one on my 3rd shot.
No.
Because it was the 1st one. Because it was my 1st ever.
Do you ever get a breakfast ball?
Not if you're keeping a legit score.
So you never get a breakfast ball?
Of course I do.
Okay, that's it. It's done. That's it.
Yeah, but the hole that you get a breakfast ball is the 1st hole when you have your
Some
first
people
swing.
play, you get it for any hole on the first 9.
But that's a mulligan.
Some
But then it's
people
a
say
mulligan,
you can
not a
use
breakfast
mulligan
bowl.
on any hole.
Okay, well then there you go.
But that's a mulligan, not a breakfast bowl. And a
Well, they
mulligan.
said,
Joey,
listen,
let me ask you this.
I don't
Let me
make
ask
the
you
rules,
this.
man.
If you were practicing for a tournament and you
Yeah.
went up to the tee and took like 10 tee shots on a par 3 and you made one of them, when you say on one of the 10, I got a hole in one.
That's it, when you put it that way, sure, but I don't think that.
He would.
First of all, when you play a practice round in college or in professional golf, you can only hit 2 tee shots.
No, I'm not saying you're playing a practice
just-
round. You're just like,
Just say,
it's just like it's your country.
Yeah, you're out there
Oh,
doing
You're
if
out
you're
there
just
with
sitting
the
there,
pro. You're out there
but
with
it's
the
not
pro.
okay. Like, but it's not a round. It's the same thing. Like if you play at a par 3 course, you make a hole in one. Like I don't know if that technically really counts as a.
Okay,
As like
but
a
I'm not
one on your
okay.
record.
But in my defense, I wasn't playing in like the Saturday league. I was just playing with my
right.
buddies.
No, and like I said from the top, it's like you put a hole in one on the scorecard, you do whatever you want. I don't care. Just me personally.
When
I
you're
would
just
not
playing
count
with
it.
your buddies, do you ever take gimmies?
Of course.
Okay, it's done. It's done. Done. We're done.
Did you take a gimme off the tee? I mean, I don't know.
Hole in one. Hole in one, Turtle. Tell him in your face.
No, I think it's a hole in one. I also think if you like fucking hit a terrible shot and went in the water and you were like, everyone looks around, no one wants to say anything because like, oh, everyone wants to laugh when you hit in the water, but you really just
They're the ones that told me to just shoot again.
exactly. If you say
No one saw that.
you say I'm hitting another one and you hit it, you're going just as crazy.
Yep.
That's not what I'm arguing. I go bananas. That's not what I'm saying.
Diebler, I'm with you.
Yes, Joey, I wasn't playing in an actual league where I
That's not what
turned
I'm
in my supercard at the end of the round.
Did you at least shoot your career best when you had a hole in one?
No, I played probably the worst I've ever played after that. And guess what? It didn't matter because I was too busy calling everyone in my contacts and telling them I hit a hole in one.
Tell them I made a 3.
No,
For what it's worth, I got called about the hole in one and I did not get a text back when I said congrats on the new coaching job. So you're lucky I'm on your side.
I was busy.
I remember exactly where I was when I got the call from you. I was on hole 10, 11, 12, 13 at the golf club at Dublin on the tee. And you were like, Joey, I just made a hole in one where I'm going nuts. I'm playing with random people on the golf course. Like
It wasn't random people. They were my friends, but it wasn't random.
I'm playing with random people.
Oh.
I was. And I was like, oh, my buddy just made a hole in one. And then and then I get back in the cart and I'm driving and you're like, yeah, first one I hit in the water. And I was like, well, that doesn't count. It's not the same. I can't believe you're calling everybody.
Counts.
It
Count
counts.
it.
Turtle, I
How
appreciate
far was the hole?
148 out, 9 iron.
What, 9 iron? Nice. Maybe I'm just jealous at the end of the day. Just jealous.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay.
All right. Diebler, you got anything else before we let you get out of here?
What are you guys eating for dinner tonight? Because I'm absolutely starving.
Oh, great question. I went on a 3-day juice cleanse last week. So I've been like in the mood for a lot of different foods lately. I've also been really under the weather and haven't had the greatest appetite. So I don't even know what I'm hungry for, but Potbelly, I have a free sub at Potbelly right now. So I might go use my free sub.
You see they have pastrami now? I got an email about it.
Do they?
Yeah.
Interesting.
What's your favorite burger spot?
In terms of what? Fast casual, fast food,
yeah.
normal?
Yeah.
Shake Shack is the best.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Shake Shack,
Yeah.
the best.
Not even close. I agree.
I agree 100%. It's not even close.
If
I
I
wish this
ever
was a little less expensive.
If I ever am like, I'm gonna get a burger and fries right now, then I always do McDonald's and add another item.
What is wrong with
Whenever I get fast food, it's McDonald's. Few and far
Fast food, that's a different tier. That's a different category than Shake Shack.
I don't ever get.
If
I
you
don't
are
ever,
doing back here, that's the worst. That's the worst burger.
I
Really?
don't ever do that middle ground. I either go like burger from a nice place or fast food. I don't really do the middle.
You're missing out, Andrew.
I know.
Shake Shack is.
Like I don't ever do like a Shake Shack or a Five Guys.
Shake
Oh.
Shack is elite.
Yeah, Shake Shack is.
What shake do you get from Shake Shack?
I just get a chocolate one.
I'm a chocolate guy as well. I don't usually get a shake though. I usually just go burger and fries.
I want them to bring back the buffalo chicken sandwich because that was
their chicken sandwiches are Shake Shack is so underrated. It's ridiculous.
Maybe they should sponsor this since we're shouting them out.
God, could you imagine? Clip this, Andrew.
I like it.
Send it to them. Send it to them.
I like. Imagine if they get a little NIL.
Butler University, we support Shake Shack.
That's right. Go Bulldogs. Is there a Shake Shack near you?
There's one downtown.
We'll get them to cater. Because we have that much. Because Drive Lane, we can do things like that. You know.
Last question. What is that clock behind you? Because it hasn't changed and it's bugging me.
That would be the clock that's out in the gym, and I don't know why it's like that.
Okay. Because I was like looking at my phone. I'm like, I know I'm an hour behind, so that's been bothering me. For those of you who can't see, John's phone or John's clock has said 4:53 for the past hour. So
that's just classic.
Wait, who you got right there? Who you got right there behind you?
What?
On the wall.
Gordon Hayward. That was Gordon Hayward.
Hey.
That was I was gonna say that's classic Andrew not being a college basketball player and knowing that the clock in the locker room is the clock on the court, so that you know
lock in turtle
before the game and halftime.
What percentage of our listeners? What percentage of our listeners do you think are former college basketball players? I think it's a little disrespectful that the setting was not set for the non-college basketball players. You should have sat down and said, "Hey guys, this clock over my shoulder, Joey. I know you know that this is the clock from the gym." But for all the watchers and listeners that are not former college basketball players, which is probably 99.9%.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Shout out to Andrew Dockage if he's listening, though. That's probably the only guy that made me.
True.
All right, John. We'll let you go. You're a busy guy.
And there's no way.
Appreciate it, man.
Always fun. We'll talk to you soon. See you in Hinkle soon.
All right, guys. Thanks.
See ya.
Clocking out early, that's the dish I don't like. Been getting paid since I was riding on the bike. Hit the pedal with the 8th, hopping on the 9th flight. I've been chilling out of sight. I'll be at the bar tonight. Told the bartender, go and take my card to swipe. You try the same thing, but your card get declined. White rappers nowadays, no, we're not too hard to find. I'm so dapper with my ways, I'm gonna linger in your mind. Always told me good things, look, I'm too dull to are patient. But I've been way too patient, writing bars in my basement. I'm anxious in the real world, it's time for me to say this. The basics, the talent in my mind, I can't waste it. My life is too safe, it's my time for risk taking. I'm baking my mind, every day it's the same ish. Lazy, my grind needs to get a new facelift. Coming from the underground and busting through the pavement. Rock with it and lean with it. My team winning, my team winning. Now rock with it and lean with it. My team turned up when I spit it. Now rock with it and lean with it. My team winning, my team winning. Now rock with it and lean with it. My team turned up when I spit it. Don't think that I'm playing because I'm saving the game, and I said that I will be more because, oh yeah, that is so raving, racing and pacing around all these lames in my lane, out my way, unless you're trying to pay me. Not from the playpen, it's coming from the jungle. When you hear the bell, you better be ready to rumble, because I'ma grab the gloves and I'm gonna flex my muscles. Go ahead and spit some bars, but you're probably just gonna mumble. A lot of rappers these days really need to get them humble, cause they think they at the top, they better stop before they stumble. Cause I'm swiping all their biddies while they swiping right on Bumble. And your girlie calls me daddy, but she only calls you uncle. But no, we not related, homie, no, we not some fam. You never get in clubs, you can't even get in Sam's. You never get in dubs like the Browns